Twitch. Let's see if we have sound. We do. Yay. Okay. And Dementia Radio and recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice.
Hey, Luke Ski.
What do we have on the show this week?
We have pre-recorded interviews with John Wayre and the Knuckleheadz coming up later in the show. And welcome to episode 674 of the Funny Music Podcast for May 18th, 2023. The title of this week's episode is It's All Ablaze. I don't know. I go to a random word generator and I just pick something. So that's how these show titles come about. So, let's do the thing.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
Oh, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Nothing much eventful happening the past week. Just me continuing to do my day job and continuing to try to find the time when I'm not doing my day job to get commission artwork finished.
Speaking of that, remind me after the show to talk to you about some commission work I may need.
Ian actually messaged me earlier about a commission thing. He was curious how much I would charge for something, and yeah, it's yeah. So here's the thing. It's besides the fact that I currently have commissions that were already paid for that I'm trying to finish up. There's also just kind of this weird balance of like, I need to make money to like continue to try to make a living, but I also would like to have some time in my life just for my own personal projects.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I've been a little bit at a time working on trying to get the new episode of Bad Rapport finished, and I have some stuff laid out. I have all the talking parts laid out in Adobe Audition, and I need to kind of I have a kind of a general list of which songs I want to play. Now I just need to kind of pick the songs and lay them all out and get it all finished and post it. But I don't want to if I jump in on that, it's going to take up a bunch of time, and then these people who paid for their artwork are still going to be waiting. So I'm trying to balance like working on the artwork with me getting little bits of time in for me to do stuff for myself. So I was hoping to get the new Bad Rapport posted by this Saturday morning, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, the big piece I'm working on right now was ordered by Michael Carbonneau, and it's basically 7 characters from Steven Universe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done in a very specific pose. I don't want to give it away completely, but it's done with a specific pose to recreate something else from pop culture. But also he wants to do it like from a specific point in time in the Steven Universe story. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting all the details right to make sure like at that particular point in the show, it's like mid-season 5, like here's what each of the characters, gem forms looked like at that time, like that was the outfit they had or whatever, so and other small details. So I've been I'm trying to get that done. I was hoping to have that done by the end of today, but I don't know if I'll be able to pull that off. At least I've made significant progress on it at this point. So, and then once I get this one done, there's at least a couple more I need to get done that aren't as complex as this one. But basically, the idea behind this, it's like, I don't know if you've been to like the Artist Alley part of conventions where you see a bunch of people have like, like 11 by 17 size color prints of like, artwork of, well-known characters, and, people will buy them. And when I saw his idea and what he wanted to do, and I'm like, if I really go all out on this and do my best to make it as as like on model as possible and make it look really good, this could be something I could try to sell at conventions, because Steven Universe fans, even without knowing the full context, might just think like, oh, that's a really awesome piece of art. So
Cool.
So yeah. So basically, more or less, that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to?
Well, I took Darren on a college tour today. We went down and looked at Montclair State University, and it was a lot longer down there than I was expecting it to be, because the last couple of college tours we did, it was like half hour, 45 minutes. We were down there for a few hours. But it's good school and good swim program. So that was my day. I had Monday was my second improv class, which was fun. We did this exercise he called Park Bench. I don't know if this is a standard improv exercise or not, but the idea is you have someone sitting on a bench, and someone else comes up and tries to get the sitting person to move. And the rules is the aggressor cannot touch them, and the person sitting, like, if it was real life and they were really in that situation and they would really move, then they have to move. You can't just be a dick and say, no, I'm not moving, So it started, and there was this one girl up there, and she did really good, and got through like 2 or 3 guys, and then one guy finally got her to move. And then I went up there to this guy, and I got up real close to his face, and I went, hi, how you doing? And he just was like, all right, I'm out, and just got up and left. And then the next guy who came up after me sat down and started like making barf noises and stuff, and I'm like, oh, fine. So it was fun. The other thing I did was also with my acting class, but this wasn't acting related. I went bowling on Friday night for the first time in probably 7 or 8 years. I think the last time I went bowling was Jeremy's either 7th or 8th birthday. So it was a long time ago. I did okay. I started out terrible. Like my first shot, I got 1 pin down, and then like second shot, I got 2 pins down. So like first frame, I bowled a 3. So I'm like, yeah, this is off to a good start here. But I managed to salvage that game up to a 129, and my second game I bowled a 181. So it wasn't bad overall. On the plus side, it's been a week and my wrist still hurts, so I don't know if I injured it or if I'm just sore. So I'm going to give it like a few more days, and I may have to go to a doctor if it's not if it does not getting better.
Yeah, bowling is the only sport for which I ever earned a first place trophy.
Nice. Excellent. I was on my bowling team in high school, and it was funny, like during my second game, I got 3 strikes in a row, and one of my friends who's, one of the other guys in the acting class was like, I was on the bowling team in high school after my 3rd strike. And I was like, you want to know how cool I was in high school? I was on the bowling team in high school. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun, actually.
It's like it was about, I can't remember if it was like probably around grade school, junior high school, around that time, maybe beginning of high school. I remember that specifically it was like a Saturday morning thing that me and my brother, we'd have to drive out and be a part of these like team leagues and stuff. So I remember me needing to set the VCR to record all of the cartoons that I wanted to watch. It's like, I can't miss Alf, so.
All right.
Cool.
So let's get into some music, shall we? Our first song is by newcomer John Wayre. This is Why Does Everybody Call Me Big Head?
Why does everybody call me Big Head? I've measured it, it seems perfect to me. I have such a lovely face, and I win every race. There's nothing in this world too much for me. But why does everybody call me Big Head? I must admit I'm good at all I do. At school I was the best, yes I beat all the rest. But I don't know why they call me Big Head, do you? My mum said I was born a perfect baby. The doctor said this boy, he will go far. have a high IQ. I know I'm brighter than you, 'cause every year I buy a brand new car. But why does everybody call me Big Head? I must admit I'm good at all I do. I know I have real charm, there's always a girl on me arm, but I don't know why they call me Big Head. Do you? Why does everybody call me Big Head? I've measured it, it seems perfect to me. At sport I am the best, outshine all the rest. Passed the first time round when I took me driving test. But why does everybody call me Big Head? I must admit I'm good at all I do. I'm such a lovely guy, never told a lie, but I don't know why they call me Big Head. Do you? But I don't know why they call me Big Head. Do you?
So I am here with John Wayre. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you very much.
So, since this is your first time on the show, give us a little background, who you are, where you're from, what you do, all that.
Right. Well, first of all, I was born in 1944, so I'm nearly 200 years old. No, but I'm getting on a bit. But born in 1944 in an air raid shelter in a little place called Bellingham, which is southeast London. I'm not quite a Cockney, because you have to live in the East London to be a Cockney.
Okay.
But I actually lived next door to Henry Cooper, the boxer who fought at Cassius Clay, and I managed to write a song about him, you know. And I've basically played through my life music. I've been in lots of musical things, you know, shows and that. I've been writing. Shall I read a little bit of what I've done there? Have you got time or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So Henry lived at 120. We lived at 116. My dad used to work with him. He used to work with my dad as a builder and that. I managed to write a song about him called I Live Next Door to Henry Cooper, but I was advised not to put it out because it might offend Cassius Clay, who I had a lot in the song. And
okay.
Because he came Muhammad Ali, and apparently he was going to he would be offended if he was called Cassius Clay, you know.
Oh, okay.
But I still have the song, and I might consider putting it out, you know. So and also I wrote another good song from Council Estate, which I lived on, it's actually, I think it's going to go on to the FuMP next week. It's called Something's Going On in the Neighbourhood.
Yes.
And I got that from a neighbour who was living opposite us when we were kids, you know.
Okay.
I went to a comprehensive school called Sedge Hill. Francis Rossi was there of Status Quo. His dad had an ice cream business just up the road from us called Rossi's Ice Cream.
Okay.
I started playing at the age of 10 on the ukulele. Then after hearing Lonnie Donegan, I got hooked, had it, and bought an electric guitar. Played skiffle first of all in a skiffle group for many years. Well, not many years. Then rock and roll hit the scene. Learnt a few more instruments: electric guitar, piano, banjo, mouth organ, etc. Mm-hmm. Formed a pop band, and my first proper job leaving school was a sheet metal worker. Pulling levers all day, very boring. And then I went to glass blowing, and I remember that when I went there, the man who interviewed me said, "Would you like the job?" And he couldn't even breathe, you know. I think I was there for about 2 weeks. And then I stayed. Then I went into the building business industry, which was more interesting. But then by then, a band that I was in, a pop band, we turned full-time professional. And we were playing at a gig, and a young lady come up, Julie Grant, and she had previously had 4 songs with the Decca label. None reached number 1, so they replaced her with Helen Shapiro, but she came a promoter and got us into some very good venues. And then that band packed up, and then a couple of I got married. Oh no, sorry, I went to sea after that.
Oh,
yeah, I went.
okay.
I'm forgetting. I've got such a lot to say. I went to sea and served on the HNTS Monarch cable layer. It was there that I started putting some songs together, because I used to do like voluntary work, working at the top of the ship doing watch duties, and it was really peaceful. And I had a notepad and I kept writing things down, you know. And that was how I started actually writing songs. And then I left the sea, got married, got 2 lovely sons, started playing semi-pro again in a duo, played jazz band, country band, pop band, all them sort of things, you know. And finally found work in the over 50s and clubs, sheltered housing, and performed comedy songs and all kinds of songs, 50s, 60s, 70s, in everywhere actually. And then I've got a partner who also plays with me, Rosalind. She plays guitar and sings. And we were doing very well till the pandemic hit, and then everything stopped.
Yeah.
And that is how I actually got to know FuMP, because we had so much time to go on the internet, and I found FuMP, you know. And it was
just,
quite...
you know, scraping the bottom of the barrel of the internet, you finally found the FuMP.
Yeah. But I watched a few of the programs, and they're very interesting. They're very good songs, you know. It's interesting. I never realised that comedy songs had an opening, you know.
Yeah,
I saw the FuMP,
there's
you know?
not a huge market. It's not a huge industry, but you know, it's fun. You know, that's basically all it comes down to.
Yeah. No, it is fun. There's no doubt about it. And I know I've got quite a few more that I'd like to sort of audition in that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. I think I've run out of work. I was in the film business. I was a film for about 10 years on and off. Went into the film business, extra, you know, and I've been in quite a few films, well-known films like The World Is Not Enough, James Bond film, you know, The World Is Not Enough. That was Pierce Brosnan in that one. Then I've been in, oh dear, so many films. The World Is Not Enough, Alexander the Great, I was a general in that, and I actually had my arm, I was an arm in it, you know. I know it was my arm because it had a wart on it, and I saw it, you know. But then the Midsummer Murders, there was lots of British programs we were in, you know, and spent a lot of time doing film extra work. And then when I was in one of the films, I met Vic Scott, who was the original Iron Maiden drummer.
Okay.
And he was a good cartoonist, and he's the one that did that. I don't know if you've seen that with my logo. It's got like a cartoon on it. Yeah. He actually drew that. He was the first original drummer of Iron Maiden, you know. And I'm lost for words.
Well, tell us about Why Does Everybody Call Me Big Head?
Oh, right, yeah, right. Now, I wrote it about 30 years ago, and I think I only got the lyrics through just meeting people, you know, through life. But I have got a certain person that I've known all my life who it relates to, but I have to keep that quiet, you know.
Yeah, oh, obviously.
But I used to perform it in older people's places, you know, but you never know whether they're laughing to be kind, you know. Mm-hmm. But I never dreamed it would be on an album. It's going on an album, yeah? I was like, is that right? It's going on an album.
Yeah, well, it's going on the FuMP compilation, yeah.
Yeah, I never dreamed it would go on an album, you know. But as I say, I just wrote it through experiences of how a song comes along. Oh yeah, I've also got music on a lot of BBC programs and
oh, nice.
And quite a lot of films and that. I'm with PRS, so I'm all right there, sort of thing. And I'm with Crucial Music, which I think is around it's in California, is it? Yeah.
That I don't know.
No, and I'm with quite a few like publishers, so
Mm-hmm.
and it's quite good, I'm just lost for words. Sorry about that.
So, when you first started writing your own songs, I mean, are all or most of your songs comedy songs, or do you do some serious work too?
Oh no, I've done classical. I've written classical, pop, nearly everything.
Oh, cool.
Ragtime, rock and roll, pop, country. Quite a lot of stuff, and I think I've got about 400 or 500 pieces out at the moment.
Oh wow, okay.
And I mean, and they're all in different programs. You just never know where the program's going to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a surprise. I've got a piece of where is it? It's called Why Women Kill. That's CBS Paramount as one of my ragtimes. Princess Cut, Love Story, The Heart of a Dancer, Sneezing Baby Panda, the movie, but the list goes on. I can't remember half of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's all good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so what we do around here is, like, we don't make a whole lot of money, but we have a lot of fun doing it, so that's all that really matters.
That is it. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's not important. Well, it is. It can be important, but it's just the fact that you do what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun, and that's about all I can think of.
Cool. Well, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Plug? Not really. Not that you could plug. I wouldn't say that you could plug anything at the moment, except the songs that I've got on FuMP, really,
Okay. Do you have a website or anything?
Right. No, I haven't got a website, actually, either, So, but other than that, that's about it.
All right, then. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And
thank you very much for phoning me.
We look forward to...
Sorry, I was a bit stuttery, but
No, you're fine. You're totally fine.
I'm trying to think, it's remembering, actually,
Yeah. All right, well, we look forward to more songs from you in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, see you later. Yeah, cheers. Thanks. Ta.
This is the FuMP.
Each stupid human and pet trick. He'd jump on a wall and stick in a suit made of Velcro. That Larry Bud Melman was all the rage, and Biff Henderson managing the stage. So slow.
I don't like those peaches, they are full of stones. I like bananas because they have no bones. Don't give me tomatoes, can't stand ice cream cones. We all die in the dark. Those out waters, desert strolling. Got the sketchy tune, needs a video for MTV.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. TheFUMP.com.
And a bottle of yoo-hoo, what you gonna do?
Said doo-doo,
Let's get a ship in a flame, let's go to Crossbones. Let's sail to the seven seas and never come home. Let's get some hooks and a locker from Davy Jones.
Yes, I'm excited. Let's be pilots.
Let's start to act like Captain Jack.
40.
Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news, there is likely a new Tenacious D album in the works, but we have no details. They released a new song called Video Games recently, and at the end of it, Jack Black says, "That's it, that's going on the album." I did find an interview with them from last June where they said they were working on a new album, but there's no details yet.
Have you seen the video for that song?
I have. It's amazing.
Okay, so just before the pandemic, like a year or two, I can't remember what year it was, they put out an album called Post Apocalypto, And they made these, I mean, technically they are videos, but basically what it was Jack Black was doing like these really quick like drawings of things, and then he was handing them off to some other person who would like scan them and then like color them, and like it was supposed to be like this, like they're kind of making up this adventure in a post-apocalyptic world. And when I first heard about what it was, I thought it was going to be kind of like an Adult Swim kind of animated thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. And then when I saw what it was, I couldn't have been more disappointed. It's like, you know, as the guy who, you know, always likes things, it's like, it's so weird and hard for me to process when an act I love so much puts out something I'm so dissatisfied with. It's like, I don't know how to process this. Because even just putting that aside and listening to the tracks on the album, like, there was only, like, maybe one or two that I even, you know, liked. And I just kind of was like, and I had this thought, like, earlier this week. If that project hadn't happened when it happened, and instead, like, the pandemic hits, and Jack Black got this idea, hey, Kyle, we're going to do this project, and this is how we're going to put out something new during the pandemic, and then that ended up being what they put out, I probably would have liked it slightly more just based on the context of, well, they made this during the pandemic.
Yeah.
That was something that they were able to put together. You know, but then Kyle, like the last time we recorded the Tunes podcast, he's like, have you seen the new Tenacious D video? I'm like, no. I'm like, okay, well, you know how you didn't like post-apocalyptic? I'm like, yeah. It's like, this is the opposite of that. And holy crap, he's right. That was like amazing. It's like you're the D. Why more of this, please? So yeah.
Insane Ian has a reaction video for it up on his YouTube channel, which is really cool. All right, the only other news I have is target audience on streaming. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, as my thing continues of putting up all of my past albums, this one was a little bit delayed because unfortunately Songcast doesn't send you like emails or alerts to let you know like, hey, there's a problem, and I had to go back and check on something, and the reason that was held up was because I have that track called Everybody Get Weird, and then in parentheses, an Art Paul Schlosser remix.
Oh, is this that versioning thing?
Yeah.
That's brand new for them. I was dealing with that for the first time with the last FuMP album, and I'm like, what the... Because, like, parentheses, if it's not part of the title, if it's, like, live version, you know, live at MarsCon, like, it's a specific version, they now have a separate field for it, which... Okay.
Yeah, so it's strange that that's the way they do it, but it got held up for a few days because I kept checking. I'm like, why isn't that album up? And then I finally thought, wait, I better go check Songcast to see what's going on. And sure enough, that was a thing. So, but yeah, this album came out in 2008, and it features the songs that were the songs that ended up being hits on the Dr. Demento show during that period of time were Battlestar Rhapsody, which kind of went viral in and of itself because somebody made a fan video for it, and it was, actually got some traction.
I remember seeing that on Twitter being shared by Alyssa Milano, and I was like, "Why?" I was like, "Oh, cool! Somebody shared Luke's video," and I'm like, "Alyssa Milano shared Luke's video." Okay.
What's more surprising, Alyssa Milano sharing one of my videos, or Alyssa Milano being a Battlestar Galactica fan?
True.
Yeah. So, and then ironically, years later, she has a spaceship named after her in Guardians of the Galaxy. So, well, that's the thing I always wondered how she felt about that, because I doubt they asked her permission ahead of time.
Yeah. You never know.
Unless she's friends with James Gunn, and then it's like, okay, fine, but whatever. And then, Holding Out for Hero, my song about heroes that Carrie sings on and has awesome music by Shoebox and Jared Ringgold. My song about 24, Jack Bauer. And then other songs on it include my two Babylon 5 songs, No Sleep Till Babylon and Just Mr. Londo. It has my song Wilbur Robinson about the movie Meet the Robinsons, which I mentioned mainly because the director of that film, who was also the voice of Bowler Hat Guy, heard that song and totally digs it, Steve Anderson, and I've actually been Facebook friends with him for a while. So
Cool.
yeah, so it's just really cool that it got his attention. And then of course my song Scud, which also has to do with Scud is about the independent comic book by Rob Schraub, which is a graphic novel which you can get at Amazon. I think it's in its 5th or 6th printing now. Scud the Disposable Assassin. And I asked Rob Schraub if I could have permission to use Scud and characters from it as the kind of inspiration for the cover art and the back art for it, and he said yes. So yeah, that's why the album cover looks like the way it does. And I really love that that particular piece of art I did. It's like nobody may get this, but I nailed it. It's perfect. So yeah. So it is all out on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, etc. And I'll be continuing to post one of these every 2 weeks until I have everything up, and then I'll do the Lukeski Top 50 poll. So everyone, if you're looking for something to listen to, you can I put out my most recent album, Needlessly Meta, up there. And also, obviously, this stuff is all still on Bandcamp, so, feel free to go, take a walk down memory lane every couple of weeks listening to my past albums, so when it's time for the Top 50 poll, you have a fresh idea in your mind of what stuff you like the most. So
I actually listened to Target Audience today on the way to MSU, so.
Cool. So, anyway.
All right. Tour dates. Steve Goody's on tour, so his usual stuff is not happening as far as I know. But the Mondays online Steve Goody and Brad Tassler virtual comedy show is still happening, right? Even if he's on tour? Okay. All right, so the 18th through the 21st, Muncie, Indiana, Mikey Mason. The 23rd online, Carla Ulbrich. The 26th in Houma, Louisiana. Houma. That's a new word. Consortium of Genius. Somewhere in Louisiana. On the 26th, in Clovis, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. And on the 27th, in Baltimore, Maryland, Devo Spice. I'll be performing at Balticon at 7 p.m. on Saturday. And Balticon is selling virtual badges, so if you would like to attend virtually and just watch via Zoom, you can do so. Just go to balticon.org and you can register for the weekend. All right, birthdays. Coming up tomorrow, the 19th, TV's Kyle. Happy birthday, Kyle.
Woo, Kyle, yay.
He shares a birthday with my son, Connor, who is turning 19 tomorrow. So
that is not possible.
Yeah, really. Tell me about it. All right. Second song of the week is the new one by the Knuckleheadz. Here is Brush Your Teeth and Go to Bed.
Hey, boy. It's 9 p.m. We better get some sleep, yo. Go get your PJs on.
Dad, I'm not tired.
You've been yawning for 30 minutes. Go brush your teeth and get some sleep.
I don't need to brush my teeth. I need to Tic Tacs.
That don't count. Go brush your teeth.
No.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
Dad, I'm not tired.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
I don't want to count sheep.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
I don't want to miss a beat.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
5 more minutes.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
Can I have some goldfish?
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
I've got a Sharky milk.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
You brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
You got gingivitis.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
Na 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 na.
Brush your teeth.
Na 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 na.
Go to sleep.
Time that you think about the girls in your dream, cause you know that they won't kiss you if you don't brush your teeth. Time that you think about the girls in your dream, cause you know that they won't kiss you if you don't brush your teeth.
Do I have to brush my hair?
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
But it's only
Brush your
midnight.
teeth and go to sleep.
I want to know where that.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
They don't make stupid
Brush
songs.
your teeth and go to sleep.
You can watch Teen Wolf.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
You know the Hydra.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
Listen to Good Charlotte.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
You're on Cheerios.
Brush your teeth and go to sleep.
Na 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 na.
Brush your teeth.
Na 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 na.
Go to sleep.
Na 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 na.
Brush your teeth.
Na 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 na.
Go to sleep.
Time that you think about the girls in your dream,
drink, cause you know that they won't kiss you if you don't brush your teeth. Time that you think about the girls in your dream, cause you know that they won't kiss you if you don't brush your teeth.
Oh, can I at least take a poop?
Yeah, you can do that. But then brush your teeth, you gotta sleep. 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 Oi, 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 boy, toy, 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 boy, Leroy, enjoy, convoy, gentlemen. Time that you think about the girls in your dream, cause you know that they won't kiss you if you don't brush your teeth. Time that you think about the girls in your dream, cause you know that they won't kiss you if you don't brush your teeth.
The song is sponsored by Colgate, because Aiden sucks. I'm gonna be.
I am here with the Knuckleheadz. Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us. Also, we're joined by Grogu. He's with us as well.
Oh, what'd you say?
Grogu.
No.
Oh, where'd Grogu go?
Hi, Grogu.
He never existed.
He never existed.
Okay, fair enough. So tell us about brush your teeth and go to sleep.
So we wanted to go punk on this one, and I had the idea, I guess, because it's kind of a fight every night. Like we do the bath and like, okay, brush your hair, brush your teeth, get your night clothes on, and go to sleep, and it's a fight basically every night.
Mm-hmm.
But we usually
Stop.
What do you usually do? Let's do bath tomorrow.
And tomorrow I do the same thing.
Yes. Let's do it tomorrow. I don't
To be
wanna do it
fair,
right now.
I'm 50 years old. I do the same thing. I'm like, I can shower tomorrow.
Well, it's either we do it at night or we have to get up at like 5:30 in the morning to get him to school. And
Oh.
5:35.
yeah. So
This school sucks.
That's not healthy, getting kids up that early. I mean, it's really
It's
not. They've
way
done
too
studies.
early.
They've done studies that, like, letting kids sleep later, they do much better academically.
I've heard that. We need to tell your school that.
Yeah.
Me and Sawyer are on the student council thing. We can start next year when student council starts up again. We can start a vote for having school start later.
There you go. Yeah, Jax is
We can
secretary
have
of the SCA to school.
Cool.
Yeah, not SCA ended. So the school council thing ended. Student council ended. So we're redoing it next year, and I'm still in it for next year.
Yeah.
But
Cool. Well, look up these studies because it'll help with your argument.
my idea is me and my friend are both in it, and we're gonna try to
Overrun the school.
me and a friend Sawyer are in it, and me and him are going to try to change the hours of school from you have to be there at maybe 8:30.
At night.
No, in the morning.
That
I
seems
mean,
more
it's
reasonable.
A little bit better sleep. You have to be there at 8:30. Maybe it could end at 3. So however much time you're missing in the morning, just add that much time to the afternoon part, I guess.
But yeah, back to this. I always wanted to do a 90s punk song. So I think we channeled
No.
we channeled Bouncing Souls and Screeching Weasel and
No.
Pennywise, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I was gonna say it sounds almost like the songs that MC Lars did when he was doing punk rock stuff.
Yep. Like the Hot Topic. It's not punk rock.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. So,
Oh no.
so speaking of MC Lars, did you get a chance to hear that one?
No, I haven't listened to that one yet. But
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's exciting. It was nice that we got it.
No.
Jax is MC Lars fan number 1.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, he's a big Lars fan. So I sent him an email a while back, and because he liked the Knucklehead stuff he heard, and I was like, "Would you want to do a song with us?" And he said, "Yeah." He's like, "What's the song about?" I was like, "Puppies and kittens."
And he's like, "That's very joyous."
Yeah, he said, "That's a great topic." I was like, "All right." And Jax was hype. Jax loves MPOs.
So have you guys done any other punk songs, or do you have any kind of punk background?
No, well, we had an idea. Tell them about our idea for Arbor Day.
Well, we had a song for Arbor Day where you just kind of Arbor Day, Arbor Day, Arbor Day, Arbor Day. Please.
We were so Jax had an idea a while back to do a whole holiday album, just nothing but songs about holidays,
Wait. Something to tell you.
but not just Christmas. Like, oh Lord, stop it! You can't rickroll Devo space.
Because I can't. I can't what do I want?
Yeah, we were gonna do a holiday album and do a song about like every holiday. And I'm like, what can we do about Arbor Day? We wanted to do like a kind of minor threat, real short Arbor Day song, and the whole song was just gonna be like, "It's Arbor Day, it's Arbor Day, it's Arbor Day, it's Arbor Day, trees."
That'd be a great song.
Yeah. That was gonna be the whole song. So that was the only other punk idea we had, but yeah, I think this one probably turned out a little better.
But you didn't have like a punk band in another life or something?
No. I was in a punk band in college.
There you go.
Called the Crotch Mouths.
What is that?
We never really did a show. We wrote a bunch of songs and we practiced, and that was about it. But I guess I can kind of say I was in a punk band.
Okay. Did you record any of that stuff?
No. Illbots did. We did a punk song with this group, The Makeout, called "Right On to the Real, Death to the Fakers."
Okay.
We performed that live, and then I used to perform with a band called Dumpster Sex. Best name punk band ever.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then someone at my bus stop was also in his band.
Yeah. That was Dumpster Sex. Yeah, I always kind of wanted to be a punk star. Like when I was in high school, I wanted to be in a Screeching Weasel cover band called the Weasel Wannabes.
Mm-hmm.
That was my dream in high school.
Nice. Okay.
Never quite came to fruition.
Well, there's still time. I mean,
that's right.
You can still do it.
It's never too late.
Right. So how are Jax's teeth after all the fighting with the brushing of the teeth?
How are your teeth? You want to show them your teeth? They're all there.
They're all there. Any cavities?
Don't think so.
I've gotten 2 before, but that's it.
So Jax actually has a secret tooth. Do you want to show him your secret tooth?
No.
So he has a baby.
I swear, every single time someone asks any questions about a tooth, he immediately says this.
It's pretty entertaining. So he had 2 secret teeth. Now he's got one. He's got a baby tooth that's stuck up on the top of his gums that won't come out.
Oh.
The dentist says it'll just fall out eventually, but it hasn't yet. And his friends call it a secret tooth.
That's pretty cool. A whole extra tooth in your mouth, you know?
He actually made a song about. He made like a 20-second song about it. You want me to play it for you? I have it saved on my laptop. I can play it.
I don't think we'll hear it very well.
I don't think you'll be able to hear it yet.
I'll just...
Yeah, his friend made a song about his secret tooth.
It might work. I'm just.
I don't think he's gonna hear it.
I don't think I want to try it. So those 30 seconds. Got it?
So the new album is on this song will be on the new album, Lunchables for Breakfast.
Okay, I found it.
Oh. All right, so here's the secret tooth song. Turn it up, Luke.
This is the max. If you can hear it. Secret tooth, secret tooth, secret tooth, secret tooth. Surprising that Max knows about the secret tooth.
Yeah, that might be the hidden track on the new album.
I was just going to say, that's bonus material right there.
Yes, that might be the hidden track. I guess I'll have to get permission from his parents.
Dad, so what we can do is I can just go up to the like the little microphone thing and just play this into it.
Yeah.
So when are you hoping to have the new album done?
hoping by my goal was June, but it's looking like it might be more like August now. We got the verse from Lars. I'm waiting on a verse from Megaran. He's going to be on it.
Nice.
And Dr. Demento has agreed to do a little skit on there, so I'm
Nice.
waiting on that.
Excellent.
Yeah. I hit him up and asked him to do it, and he asked me, he's like, I'll say something about the Knuckleheadz fans. He's like, what do you call the Knuckleheadz fans? Like, like the Beatles would be the Beatlemaniacs or whatever. I was like, I guess they're called knuckle butts. So, so I think he's gonna say something about knuckle butts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty excited to have him on there. And actually, Brush Your Teeth and Go to Sleep made his top 10. I think on the last countdown he did.
Yeah, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
All right, so do you have anything you'd like to plug?
So the new album, Lunchables for Breakfast. I'm hoping to be out by August, and we've recorded all the songs except for one. We got a couple skits left to record, and then it should be done. Thor Thorvaldsen is doing the cover again. He did our first 2 covers. Looks really cool.
You might run into some trademark issues with that title.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I thought about that, and I was like, well, Mo Money, Mo Legos was our last one. And I was like,
that's true.
We're not famous enough to get in any trouble.
All depends on how litigious the company is, and I don't know. So
I sent the Mo Money,
just
Mo Legos album.
Don't name your new one about after Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, because you will
Right.
you will get shut down.
I sent the Mo Money, Mo Legos album to 2 people at Lego, just curious to see what they would say. And the first person was like, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be using our name. You could get in trouble. I was like, yeah, sorry. And then the second guy was like, this is awesome. We love it.
Well, there you go.
So maybe Lunchables will give us the same reaction. I don't know.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be about 16 tracks. Some of them are songs that have come out a few years ago, like the Teen Titans song.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll put together 2 years worth of songs.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we're excited.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good to be here.
We'll see you back to talk about the MC Lars song.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thank you, Devo.
Take care, dude.
Say something.
Hi.
We already said that.
Oh, we did? Bye.
That's right. That's correct. All right. See you, bud.
Later.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now? Feedback. Feedback.
Alvarant wrote, Luke, how has the writer's strike impacted your job hunt? How about the future of Cartoon Network as a brand?
It basically hasn't, other than exactly it's something I've been pondering lately. Is like, well, in theory, there's a lot of cartoons that like the writers already wrote the stuff before the writer's strike happened. So there's probably shows that are in production. So in theory, they might need board artists. So in the immediate short term, I don't know. I need to, admittedly, like along with, all this commission work and my day job and other things, it's like I'm about probably a week or so behind on going to the all the websites I go to and checking up on seeing if there's any new job positions posted. But I don't know. It just kind of feels like it probably hasn't, changed my situation too much. And the animation industry in general is just like, right now is just, a post-apocalyptic wasteland, it seems. I mean, it's like, if you already are on a show and you already have a job, and that show isn't getting canceled or destroyed by some, soulless executive, then you're fine. You're okay. Kyle and Lindsay are doing fine because they have jobs. But if you don't have a job, it's finding anything or even the chances to test for anything that seem to be the impossible task. So obviously there being a writer's strike is not going to help, eventually, because at some point, I mean, I have no idea how long this strike could last, but if it goes on for, months, at some point, studios, who make animated shows are going to need, scripts to, base the shows on, and that's when things are going to get, messed up. So I don't know. I do see the picketers outside of Walt Disney Studios every time I drive to go to work. So, and there's a ton of them out there. I mean, I know that they kind of are on a schedule where they decide which places they're going to go, what days, but yeah. Anyway.
All right. So that's all the feedback we got.
I want to say to comment on what Dada said in the last interview when he was talking about the title and stuff, and he basically said, we're not famous enough to get in any trouble. Like, that is... Like, okay, coincidentally, I had an email exchange with MC Lars recently, and I mentioned to him in my email, like, oh, I have, my new album's up, it's on Spotify, I'm apparently getting my old albums up on Spotify. And he asked me, like, oh, that's great, and he asked me a bunch of questions along the lines of, like, well, how did you deal with, the parody stuff and fair use and blah, 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 and, like, I haven't responded to that email because I was trying to think of, like, well, how do I explain this? And he just explained it perfectly. I'm not famous enough to get in any trouble. It's like, nobody cares about me. Nobody knows I exist. I mean, I have a fan base of 2,000 to maybe 3,000 people. Like, if just going by my, like, social media numbers, at best, but nobody's out there, like, ratting me out to friggin', whoever owns Battlestar Galactica right now,
yeah.
About, like, or, nobody's calling up, the Freddie Mercury estate and saying, hey, he did a parody of that. So it's like, yeah, so did 36 other people on the internet,
That's the thing. Thanks to all the parodies that have become ubiquitous on YouTube, the record companies have kind of finally realized that parodies are not a bad thing. I mean, technically it could be a copyright violation depending on the situation and whatnot, but they've kind of taken a hands-off approach at this point. I haven't heard of anybody having any problems with any type of parody any times. Actually, there was one... Shoot, what was that? I think there was a book that was going to court. Crap, I can't think of what it is now. But yeah, I mean, there are so many, like name any pop song and do a search for that song and the word parody on YouTube, and I guarantee you'll find at least one, I
mean, that's part of the problem with, some of the material I want to do, and I've actually done this before where I've asked, friends of mine if they'd kind of do the recon for me, just so that I could avoid seeing it myself in case I wanted to go ahead with whatever the idea was. Anyway, it's like, hey, can you look up if anybody's done a parody of this song about this topic or whatever? Like, have somebody else do that research for me just to make sure that, what there is or isn't out there. So, yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, it's yeah, it's like I've only had a couple of times when I know that, like, okay, there's my old really dumb inside joke song, I Kissed a Squirrel. And Jill Sobule heard about it somehow, back in the early days of the internet. And then I actually met her at some live show somewhere, and, I gave her a copy of the thing on CD, and then I had her autograph one of her albums for me. And she wrote on there, they say you've made it when they parody you, except I'm still poor and relatively unknown. Was what she wrote on my CD. And then the other time was... I got to very briefly meet ICP at, like, an in-store thing in, like, 99 when their Jekyll Brothers album came out, and I had a copy of Carpe Dementia that has, like, the whole parody image on the front, and I was able to give it to them, and then, it wasn't until, like, some months later I heard, like, secondhand through somebody that, like, they said somewhere in a video, it's like, yeah, there's this album where these guys were making fun of us and shit. It was awesome, or something like that. So, they obviously, didn't give a shit and thought it was cool. And that was back in '99. So, yeah.
They don't seem like the type who would be upset by something like that.
Yeah, it's like during the times when I get depressed about the fact that I've spent, over 2.5 decades working at this, and that I basically never, made it, so to speak, beyond a certain point. I try to take solace in the fact that, well, not being famous, gives you the freedom of being able to do whatever the hell you want and get away with it. So, yeah, I mean, that's why a thing like, When You Wish Upon a Death Star exists, because I'm like, I don't care, it's like, let Disney and Lucasfilm or, whatever come after me. It's like, what are you going to take from me? I have no money. What are you going to take? The fractions of cents I'm going to be earning on Spotify? Like, What are you going to take from me? So, anyway.
All right. Teasing.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job. Yeah.
Tomorrow's song is by Joe J. Thomas. And Tuesday's song is by Ookla the Muck.
Woohoo!
And need a topic for this week's Spotify playlist. Any suggestions?
I don't suppose the topic of being on strike is a thing that has a lot of comedy songs with it.
No, but there are lots of job songs.
Like songs about oppressive labor conditions.
Songs about hating your job.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go with that.
All right.
Cool. I know there's plenty of those. No, not Steve Jobs, Brett. Although he was a pretty shitty boss from what I've heard. All right.
He was such a shitty boss that, when he left, things were, it's all ablaze. Yeah.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski.
And other people were pre-recorded because, okay.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
"The Fump needs more skiffle music."